Hello everybody. I'm a little late with this. Sunny dropped a video of the tragic tale of Jackie Chan. So what happened to Jackie Chan? Because I remember Jackie Chan talking about how he
Jackie
doesn't.
Chan's
Hold on. Yo, what's going on? How he doesn't give his son, like, he doesn't just like give him stuff for free. He got to work.
only son hasn't had the easiest life. Between an unsuccessful film career and the time he spent in prison, JC Chan has been unable to live up to the high standards set by his father, and it all began with JC's luxury upbringing after his birth in 1982. At this point in time, Jackie Chan was permanently busy with acting and would therefore spend only 2 weeks per year with his son, which was, quote, contained in the household as they were too famous to go outside. His father's busy schedule meant that JC was raised almost entirely by his mother, who began to spoil him with luxuries afforded by Jackie Chan's fame and fortune. Jackie wrote in his memoir, when he was little, JC never had to worry about having enough food, how to pay his school fees, or if he needed to be driven anywhere. I would arrange it all. I regretted that later. No one should have such a good life from their
Uh, Enough food. No, he should have enough food. I don't pay school fees. He should have that taken care of. Probably driven anywhere. Cause me, like, I almost had all of this, but I didn't have all of this all the time. Like, I've always had enough food and how to pay school fees if I needed to, right? But I never had like a car all the time. When I was younger, hold on, let's see. When I lived with my mom, I didn't have a car because my mom didn't drive, so we didn't have a car from elementary school to middle school. And then when we first got with my dad, he didn't have a car, and then we went from elementary to no, to another middle school, right? So it was like elementary to elementary to elementary to another one. All those years, no cars, and then to a middle with no cars, and then another middle with no. I think it would be one middle. No, it'd be another middle because middle school starts in sixth grade, and in sixth grade I moved. So in seventh, eighth, no car, and then no, did he? No, I think eighth he got a car, and then starting eighth, then we were driven it. But he said right from
Jackie
birth.
Chan
So
clearly believed this, as his upbringing was almost the opposite. Brought up in dirt poor conditions by refugee parents who couldn't even afford to pay for his birth, Jackie Chan was
yeah, you shouldn't be dirt poor, but you should still have the necessary stuff.
forced to develop discipline as well as an appreciation for scarcity. In addition to this, Jackie Chan's youth consisted of drama training all day long, from 5 AM to 11 PM with breaks for lunch and dinner. When he misbehaved, he was beaten with canes. When he fell ill, he was told to suck it up, which Jackie Chan has since highlighted as beneficial in comparison to his son's upbringing.
I really thank you, my teacher, that tortured me, becoming really, we never drop one rice on the table. Whenever I go back my home, I see my son's shoes, one like this, one like this. One socks, not the socks.
That's weird. How do you do this? Like, my shoes are always next to each other, and then my socks are either in my shoes or in a different bag because I'm about to change mine to different socks.
No discipline.
JC's cushy childhood led Jackie Chan to write in his book, "When he was a teenager, I definitely didn't think JC was pushing himself hard enough. I'd work all day, go jogging at night, then get back and see that he'd gone to bed, even though it was only 9-something. I'd grumble.
Sleeping at 9 is crazy. Like, I mean, I guess school days you should be sleeping at 9, 10, but like sleeping at 9 is crazy. Like, even if you weren't working hard, you slept at 9, bro. That's crazy.
He's asleep already.
Maybe
I'd
that's
storm out
just
in a bad
me
mood
being
and go
bad.
jogging again, thinking when I was his age, I wished he could follow me around all day to see how much I did. Sometimes I'll have 8 meetings in a row, right up until midnight, then I'll go home, do some exercise and read scripts." JC's clear lack of drive and ambition in comparison to his father led JC to drop out of college at the end of his first year, stating, "I wanted to be a musician. All you can see in Virginia is sheep," although other sources state that he was expelled from the school as a result of excessive drinking, unclean living conditions, and 2 semesters worth of unwarranted absences. JC's desire to become a musician was against the will of Jackie, who had not wished to see their son in show business. He wanted JC to be a lawyer, an engineer, or a doctor, as JC's mother had, quote, already lost her husband to this profession.
That makes sense because hold on. So he wanted to become a musician, entertainer. Why are you crying? because I've already lost my husband. Yeah, that makes sense. Because, bro, they said he was barely home like 2 weeks out of the whole year. I mean, being a lawyer, engineer, or doctor wouldn't be any better, I guess. I mean, doctor, maybe. But those other stuff, I don't think they'll be any better. But you would still see your family mostly every day. But I guess because you're an entertainer, you gotta travel a lot and whatnot. So I could see why she wouldn't want to.
Despite the wishes of his parents, JC moved from Los Angeles to Hong Kong in 2004, where he planned on cultivating his own successful story in music, stating, "It is my hope to become famous based on my own abilities, rather than rely on my image." JC was so confident in moving to China that he gave up his American nationality in exchange for Chinese nationality. However, it's possible that this choice came into question.
Wait, why did he go from LA, where there's a bunch of musicians, where he could get a bunch of stuff started, get connections, and learn how to do stuff, to Hong Kong? I don't
After
know.
he'd released his first album. Described in reviews as being a horrid absolute waste of money, the
Damn.
album simply titled JC was a commercial failure. The reason for this, as described by JC himself, was because Hong Kong is different from other places. You need to do music and movies, leading JC to appear in his first film titled The Twins Effect 2, which received an IMDb rating of less than 5
Was he
out of
bad
10
acting
stars.
in it, or
And
was
while
it-
it'd be ridiculous
It's there's either two things. Either the movie was bad altogether, or he was a bad actor. No, because if he was a bad actor and the movie was bad, then they wouldn't. And then he wouldn't be
was
there.
to
I
expect
guess
an
the movie
Avengers
was
level
bad.
performance from JC's first on-screen appearance. The movies which followed weren't that much better. He'd appear alongside his father for Jackie Chan's 100th movie titled 1911 Revolution,
Oh, wow.
yet the collaboration resulted in Jackie Chan's least financially successful and least positively received picture to date, grossing only $127,000 before receiving a score of 8% on Rotten Tomatoes. 1 year later, JC would play the main character in a movie called Double Trouble, which also entered media headlines after grossing an even more pitiful $9,000 during its first 2 weeks, making it one of the biggest box office flops in history.
Why is
To
it
add
flopping,
insult to
though?
injury,
Is it
JC
like
would
bad
then play
movies?
the main role in a movie called Whoever, which despite a government mandate forcing it to be played in half of the country's cinemas, failed to crack the Chinese top 10 and has received only 15 ratings on IMDb.
I'm just wondering why the movie's so bad. Like, is it he's just a horrible actor? Because I don't think he's just a horrible actor.
Since its release in 2012. The only positive news for JC seemed to have been coming from his music career, as his second studio album would top Taiwanese charts in 2010,
Oh, wow.
although it seems the album hasn't achieved much long-term success, as there's not even a single online review for the music, and it took about 30 minutes of digging just to find the track list. The performance of the album was unimportant anyway, because on the 14th of August 2014, JC would find himself in a profound new media scandal, making every prior controversy seem insignificant.
Ooh, what do you do?
Ready to refresh your style with Stitch Fix? First, tell us how you like your clothes to fit.
For some reason, I
Colors you-
just
Police would
always
upload
get a
footage of
feeling that
JC
I'm
Chan being arrested at his parents' $10 million luxury Beijing apartment, during which he'd admit to having approximately 100 grams of weed in his cupboard. This was extra bad for the Chan family's reputation, as Jackie Chan
Bro, because you stayed in LA and would have been straight.
had been
Actually, I don't think the weed rules were out then.
China's official anti-drug ambassador since 2009. For this reason, Jackie Chan would take to social media to apologize, writing, "For my son JC to get into such trouble, I'm very angry and astonished. As a public figure, I'm ashamed. As a father, I'm heartbroken. I can't begin to describe his mother's pain. I failed to be a good father and I deserve the blame. I will take the responsibility and apologize to the public on behalf of JC." In the process, Jackie practically disowned his son, stating that he hadn't and didn't plan on using any of his connections to lessen JC's sentence. "I have not visited him even till now. I did not even use any connections to call anyone. If JC only went in jail for 1 week or 10 days, how would the public look at us? We are public figures and all the more we have to abide by the
That
laws,"
makes
which was
sense.
accompanied by Jackie Chan somewhat hilariously telling JC's lawyer to slap him twice for me. While Jackie Chan wanted absolutely nothing to do with JC, the Chinese government took the opposite approach, making a public anti-drug example out of JC by televising the trial, which would happen approximately 4 months after his arrest. JC was sentenced to 6 months in prison and was ordered to pay a $320 fine for possession as well as the crime of sheltering others to take drugs. JC took this sentence humbly, stating, "I have broken the law and should be punished. When I return to society, I will not repeat this because I have let my family and friends down yet again, although this wasn't enough to satisfy his parents, who didn't even attend the trial." Whilst in prison, JC would send letters to his mother in which he explained that he experimented with drugs because of the bad crowd he was mixing with, and started relying on drugs to soothe himself whenever he felt upset. JC also wrote about the struggles he faced growing up in a famous family, and revealed that the expectations of fame placed a lot of pressure on him.
That's why your parents didn't want you to go into show business or entertainment or whatnot. Because even though you won't be there, there's a lot of pressure. That's like, we just legit. I just watched the Kevin Hart Actually Me thing just like a few minutes ago, where he's like, I don't really want my kids doing that because it's a lot. Like, bro.
He then expressed his unhappiness with Jackie for not showing him enough concern. However, his father wasn't rushing to offer any kind of sympathy. Jackie Chan would state in an interview, "I hope to be an anti-drug ambassador for life. I even hope that after JC is out, he can be an anti-drug ambassador too, telling everyone to stay away from drugs," which was followed by Jackie stating publicly that he supports the death penalty for certain serious offenses.
Like what?
Additionally, Jackie Chan would announce that he would donate the entirety of his reported $350 million net worth to charity and not pass it on to his son JC, adding, "If he is capable, he can make his own money. If he is not, then he will just be wasting my money." The problem is JC's earning capacity has been stifled pretty severely as a result of the public sentencing. For example, in the 3 years prior to his arrest, JC acted in 10 different movies. However, since his imprisonment almost 10 years ago, he's appeared in only 3 films, one of which he wasn't even credited for as a result of the scandal. JC also lost endorsements from Adidas, Nivea, Yishion, Johnson & Johnson contact lens.
Is that how you say it? Is that how you say it? Adidas? I always say Adidas. Like, whenever he said Adidas, like, I'm gonna say he said Adidas multiple times before. I've heard him say it, but he says Adidas or Adidas or something like that. Like, always throws me off when he says it. Like, is that how? Like, how do you pronounce Adidas? I don't know.
Stride Gum, KFC, and Chevrolet, with this rock bottom causing him to return to America, even though he was no longer a citizen there. The father and son still share a residence in Hong Kong, though they don't spend much time together. As an actor, a businessman, and his city's unofficial goodwill ambassador at large, Jackie Chan has a busy schedule. The two seem to have reconciled since JC moved back to the USA, yet JC continues to differ himself, stating, "I don't want to always follow my dad's footsteps. I want to be different."
Then why did you want to be an entertainer when bro, do you not understand how this, like, you say you want to be different, but then you're doing the exact same thing you guys. Like, say your dad is LeBron James, like Bronny. Let's use Bronny as an example, right? But his dad's LeBron James, bro's playing basketball to go to the NBA. But he's not gonna be like, I want to follow different footsteps from my dad's. No, you can't follow different footsteps than your dad's while doing the exact same thing your dad did for his profession. Like, if your dad's a famous doctor, you can't become a doctor and be like, I don't want to follow my dad's footsteps. I want to be different. That makes no sense because your dad's a famous doctor, so that means he's doing something correct. Like, your dad's a famous actor, so he did something correct and became successful off of that. And then you became an actor, and now you're saying you want to be different. How does that make sense?
Adding that he's tired of being a person in his father's shadow. Since moving back to the US, JC has made efforts to turn his life around, directing his first film in 2021 titled Goodnight Beijing, and according to IMDb, he has another 2 movies on the way.
How did those movies do?
We're reinventing our network.
I wish you told us how those movies did. Honestly, about living in the shadow of your father for your whole life isn't easy. Bro. I didn't raise you to do. He was sort of set up. No, he wasn't. An only child in those. What? No, he wasn't. What? Set up for failure, the opposite, actually. He had a pretty much. Yes, he had opportunities, bro. His dad wasn't there because he was busy working. So, there's nothing you could do about that. But when his dad was there, I'm pretty sure they hung out or whatever. But you always had your mom there for you, bro. Like, bro, his father seems pretty harsh and seems to have very high expectations on him at a very young age, which can be incredibly damaging. Everybody has expectations of somebody, bro. Like, yo, stop. ratio plus Y be better plus I didn't ask plus this you. Is that nerd face black babies or behind book? I do too. My dad is a successful person, real estate, data analysis, government contracts relating to total management, but not famous. He didn't let me have a normal childhood, but when I was little, would do he would get me whatever I wanted or sport as well. At least you know. Still hate myself for being as such, but as my sister was born, the sudden lack of attention, that spoiled thing in me just vanished. We also had to move to a less pol- posher posher area because my dad's new office, but or the place was definitely safe, but wasn't fancy. My parents would let me get into trouble and fend for myself. Felt horrible. I was 7. Does he mean 7? When I just gave up totally my grade dropped, and again had to face the consequences for what I did not go back to what I was now. When I got into high school, my father did start spending a lot more time with me, especially during COVID. Now I'm a better person, ambitious. I do what to do. Stop getting weight. Also, I apologize for my grammar. My thoughts were racing, though. Oh man, and do not feel sorry for me. There was a good chance I would probably still suffer less or more. Like, bro, do you know how many niggas had to grow up struggling, and you the one nigga that grew up like, bro, you would rather grow up under the shadow of somebody like your dad, sure, because all you gotta do is work your way out of that while you still got everything, rather than grow up struggling the whole time. Like, bro, come on now. Like, sure, I hope he does turn his life around, but come on now, come on now. Don't start with a father that didn't even raise you to do. He was set up for failure. No, he wasn't. No, he wasn't, bro. I had a lot of chances, bro. Basically, grew up with a golden spoon in his mouth, bro. Stop. Uh, I'll take if Jackie Chan only interacted with his son for 2 weeks out of the year. Not only does he have no right to complain about how he turned out, but it's also his fault. He clearly had enough money to turn down a few movies. He could have made time to raise his son, right? He could have implemented a discipline, as we talked about, but he didn't. First of all, first of all, he couldn't. Uh, he couldn't. What? Not only does he not have the right to complain, he could complain, whatever. But I'll say I guess it's his fault maybe because he's not really there, but he's there. But okay, whatever. Uh, first of all, you can't turn down movies when they come because just because, bro, I'm pretty sure being an actor is hard, right? It's like multiple people want to be an actor, right? Well, lots of people want to be an actor. So when you get a movie, when movies are handed to you, you take it. You're not gonna be like, no, I don't want to do the movie. I'll get the next one. Maybe there is no next one. What do you mean you could have turned down a few movies? Maybe there's no next one, bro. What, bro? I'm done. Let me know what you guys think. But I just feel like if you grow up with a golden spoon in your, if you grow up with a golden spoon and all you got to worry about is being that shadow, that's the least of your worries, bro. You could make something out of yourself. Maybe you might go through some rough patches, but you'll still be fine, basically. But come on now, stop. But and also most parents. Let me make this clear. Most parents, not the shitty ones. Most parents. Jackie Chan is not a shitty parent. Most parents put pressure on their kids because they want their kids to be better than them. So that's all. But yeah, like, subscribe. Let me know your guys' opinion. Follow me on Twitch, and y'all bye.